Hello, BookTube. It's time for part 3 of my massive book haul. I'm sort of recording these the day before they go up. So this is Sunday, I think, still. But yeah, the days sort of blend together for me. My breathing's a bit worse today, but we'll see how we go. I've got a pile here that's next to me. First one is a reprint, The Souls of Black People, or Souls of Black Folk, Essays and Sketches by W.E.B. Du Bois, with an introduction by Sean Lee Alexander. It's a hardcover, 2018, by co-publication of UMass Amherst Libraries and University of Massachusetts Press. It's in honor of the 150th anniversary of Du Bois' birth and Great Barrington, Massachusetts. Doesn't even look like it's been read. Well, it might have been. It's a bit loose. But yeah, it's naked hardcover, pictorial covers. Yeah, that's probably the best side to use it on to keep the shadow of fingers out. And continue on. Oh, this is kind of interesting. It's not what I thought it was when I saw it on the Skype conversation. This is Proverbs in World Literature, a Bibliography. Wolfgang Meyer and George B. Bryant. Yeah, George B. Bryant. Again, it's a naked hardcover. Peter Lang. Oh, those are expensive books. See what year. 1996. Literary critics and folklorists have long been interested in the use and function of proverbial language in literature. Proverbs in world literature enable scholars and students to establish what has been published on proverbs, proverbial expressions, proverbial comparisons, proverbial exaggerations, and Wellerisms in the work of many authors through the world. This international bibliography contains 2,654 entries, of which the first 284 comprise a section of general studies. So it is just a bibliography, as you would normally think, not annotated at all. It's probably an intro. Yeah, there's a short introduction, so yeah. I thought it was going to be something different. I don't think I saw the bibliography part when I looked at it. This is Douglas Jerrold, 1803 to 1857, by Michael Slater. Wasn't that the other big biography that I had? This is a Duckworth publication, 2002. This is Douglas Jerrold, close friend of Charles Dickens and literary sparring partner of Thackeray, leading light of satirical Weekly Punch. No, it's not the same guy, but it's still of interest to me. He's working with periodicals in the 1800s. It's a sticker on the back here, looks like. Yeah, the used book. As I say, Duckworth, 2002. And yeah, so that looks interesting. Probably something I will keep, at least for now. That'll go into sort of somewhere around here. I've got the kind of stuff for that. Dirk Bogarde, for the time being. This is not like he's done a lot of books, or he did a lot of books like memoirs, but this is his collected journalism, which looks interesting. It looks like in 1988, Dirk Bogarde returned from idyllic I can't even see it here, the light. In 1988, Dirk Bogarde returned from 2 idyllic decades in France to live in England. Shortly afterwards, the then literary editor of the Daily Telegraph, admiring the lucid frankness of Bogarde's memoirs, invited him to review some books for the newspapers. Over the next 8 years or so, Bogarde wrote much of the criticism, essays, obituaries, fragments of autobiography and appreciation which are collected in this volume. A body of work that offers fascinating insight into the life, mind, and views of one of Britain's most admired authors and actors. Yeah, that looks kind of interesting, especially the book reviews. Something for Steve Donahue as well, if he's not familiar with it. Viking, 1998. Sorry, breathing is a bit rough. This is a little, it's just another film book, but it's nothing spectacular. The American Cinema Directors and Directions, 1929-68, Andrew Sarris. I do like him as a film historian. He's done a series of books that are collecting criticism, film criticism, and it'd be nice to get the whole thing, but this is, it's just a sort of, it's exactly what it is. It's a dictionary slash encyclopedia. It's Da Capo Press, 1996. So, nothing spectacular, but interesting. Oh, here's a big one. Already seen this author, Adrian Tinswood, Life in the English Country Cottage. Another one of those to put on my shelf of books about houses, English houses. The English cottage is an icon of our times. Whether a harmonious blend of timber frame and thatch, or golden Cotswold stone, it symbolizes country life at its most seductive. A chance to return to the rural Eden that was just a chance to return to the rural Eden that was lost to most of us with the Industrial Revolution. The picture of cottage life is an attractive and enduring one that has fascinated writers and artists for the last 200 years. Weidenfeld and Nicholson book, heavily illustrated. It's oversized, 1995. Lots of little illustrations as well as full page photographs as well. A nice little book. That'll have to go there because it won't fit on the other side. Here's another one that we saw, Tales from Pubs, I think it was. Tales from Country Estates. Another one, David and Charles. This is by John Bailey. Nice pictorial end papers. Yeah, it's the same on the back. And it lists all the other titles. Tales of It's the usual thing. A lot of photographs, a little short on text, but could be interesting. As I said, David and Charles. I think the other one was the other one I think was like late 90s as well. This is 1999. Past the David and Charles heyday of the sort of 60s and 50s. Oh, this is a hefty one. Now, this is a writer I really like. And I think now there's a number of his books. There's maybe a bit of duplication, but I think I now have everything he's written except his newest 2 books on history of ancient Egypt. This is The Great Pyramid, Ancient Egypt Revisited by John Romer. It's a hefty book. It's a bit oversized. Looks like it was remaindered. There's a remainder mark on the bottom. But getting it free, I can't complain. Well, I could, but I won't. That's Cambridge University Press, 2007. And it's coated paper, lots of photographs. The Great Pyramids, eerily precise architecture has for centuries both astounded and puzzled archaeologists and has given rise to numerous modern fantasies concerning the so-called mystery of the pyramids. Sweeping away centuries of myth and confusion, John Romer describes for the first time exactly how the Great Pyramid was designed and built, by placing this awesome monument in its genuine contemporary context. This book underlines the extraordinary talents and the originality of the ancient Egyptians at the time of King Khufu. And it's got a few blurbs on the back, but yeah, that's nice to have. I think I've now got everything of his with that. Another house one, the Country House Guide, Family Homes and Historic Houses Association, Anna Spruill and Michael Pollard. Nice big book again. It's just a listing of houses with little descriptions. It's got a bit of pong to it, but I don't think it's moldy. It's not a moldy smell, but I'm barely beginning to smell things. I mostly smell what I think is dust, but it's not dust. So this could be moldy, and I'm not quite catching it yet. This is 1988. Century is the publisher. So it's got like this is Kentwell Hall, Suffolk, and it's got a column in a bit and a picture of it. So that's what the whole book sort of is. So another one of those. There's a few of these. This is interesting. It's a monograph that's been republished. Very, very slim. It's Memphis, the City of the White Wall. University of Pennsylvania Press. It's Anniversary Collection, Marion T. Dimmock. It's all of sort of 30 pages with text and some photographs in the back. It's literally about, University Museum, University of Pennsylvania, 1956 was the original publication. But it says this was University of Pennsylvania Press, 125 years anniversary from 1890 to 2015. So I'm assuming this is 2015. So it's about the Egyptian city, Memphis. So it's a little essay with photographs. An interesting little thing. What I plan on doing with it, I don't know, but that's easy enough to keep. It's so small. Oh, this is quite interesting. This is going back to film stuff as well, but Rudyard Kipling and Sir Henry Rider Sir Henry Rider Haggard, on screen, stage, radio, and television. So it's another Bear hardcover. It's McFarlane Press, and it's just listing everything that's been done on the screen, stage, radio, and television that's been adapted from Kipling and Haggard. As I say, McFarlane Press, which excel in this kind of thing. This is 2000. Short. It's just and it is just a small, like a dictionary type thing. And there's pictures here from the man who'd be king, John Houseman's Man Who'd Be King, with Sean Connery and Michael Caine. Fabulous film in the 70s. But yeah, it goes back to silent stuff, I think, as well. So that's another sort of keeper, I think. How are we doing for time? 16 minutes, so... what do we got here? Oh, yeah. This is a really good book. I used to have this in Canada, so I'm really glad to have it again. The Speed of Sound. Hollywood and the Talkie Revolution, 1926 to 1930. Scott Eyman. I think he's done a recent bio of Cary Grant. I think he has. I think I read a review of it in the Times Literary Supplement. Although film and the movies had existed for some years prior, it was D.W. Griffith's The Birth of a Nation, released in 1950, that turned what had been a flickering novelty into a transformational art form. In the years following that first epic film, that art form had been refined and reinterpreted many times and in many ways, and such masters of the silent film as F.W. Murnau, King Vidor, Erich von Stroheim had emerged to create movies that were visual works of art. Well, this is very American-centric. By the time in 1915, there was even stuff, European stuff, that surpassed anything, and they always surpassed American films, silent films, for technical innovation, stories, everything basically. But some of the American filmmakers were aware of the films, and adapted stuff, like King Vidor adapted sort of German expressionism into things like The Crowd. And then when Murnau came to America, sorry, my foot is problematic at the moment. We had a book the other day, the first one on gout, and that's what I'm getting in my left foot, the bad foot with the bad leg, and I haven't had it for a long time, but I think that's what's developing, and it's quite painful. Yeah, this is Speed of Sound. It's a really good book. It's 1997, Simon & Schuster. Other ones at this time that he did was he did a bio of Mary Pickford and Ernst Lubitsch, and this is 5 American cinematographers. I'm not familiar with that, or Flashback, A Short History of Cinema. Don't think that's in this pile, but again, that's film stuff, so that'll be good. I'll be keeping another one here that's really good. Lawrence on film. It's movies 1927, 1941. It is like film criticism by Pere Lawrence. Only know him by name, so this is really nice. It's got a dust jacket protector on as well. It's Hopkin and Blake Publishers. Never heard of them. 1975. It's in really good shape for 1975. It says Pere Lawrence is known for far and wide for his beautiful and evocative documentary films of the 1930s. Oh, he's a documentary filmmaker of the 30s. The Plow That Broke the Plains, The River, The Fight for Light, films that gave him an enduring place among those who have influenced the art and the purpose of motion pictures. But long before Lawrence began making films, he was an important writer of film criticism. Yeah, so it is a collection of his film criticism. I'm not that familiar with documentaries of the 30s, so I only know him by name. But I've been wanting to expand my film criticism of early stuff, so that's quite nice. What do we got here? Oh yes, this is interesting. I had to drop out Amy at the Dusty Bookshelf and Hannah of Hannah's Books. Hannah's Books, yeah. But they're reading sort of a history of the novel. Oh, I forget the guy's name now. But I've got two other ones here, sort of. This one's a bit tangential to it. It's Columbia History of the British Novel by John Richetti, editor. John Bender, Deidre David, Michael Seidel are associate editors. So it's Columbia University Press, 1994. So, and it's a hefty book. It's over 1,000 pages, and it's just on the British novel. So it's got, like, you know, they're essays by various people. So you got Defoe in early narrative, Sex, Lies, and Invisibility, anatomy fiction from the Restoration to mid-century, Richardson in the Circle, Fielding in the novel in the mid-century, and it just goes on. Specific authors: Joseph Conrad, Lawrence, James Joyce, Virginia Woolf, Dickens, Thackeray, Trollope. And there's one other one it's more general to history of the novel that is in with this stuff. I'm not sure where it is in the files, but that'll probably be something I would keep. Oh, this is interesting. There's 2 or 3 of this guy's books. David Rohl, he's an Egyptologist, and this is called Legend, A Genesis of Civilization. Now, I've not read any of his books. This is volume 2 to Test of Time. I think Test of Time's later, further in the pile here. Now, he did a TV series, or well, his theory was he redid the chronology of the Middle East. His idea was that everything in the Bible is correct, but scholars say, well, it doesn't fit in time-wise. But he's saying you're looking in the wrong time, the wrong place, or how, yeah. But anyway, he's saying that the chronology is wrong, that this is currently there. And he uses examples of things like a tomb that's supposed to be, well, there's 2 tombs side by side. One's supposed to be older than the other, but the older one, let me get this right, because my brain's addled. One is cut into the other, and the older one appears to be cut into the newer one. So therefore, his view, well, that can't be. So, but at the time, I was watching this, and I know it caused a big controversy at conferences I was going to with Egyptologists. They just thought he was full of shit, basically. But it was interesting stuff, and I've always wanted to get the books, so now I have the books. Whether I'll get around to reading them is another question, but Century is the publisher. This is 1998. Let me see if I can find the other one. I think it's volume 1. Let me see if I can find it first before moving on. Oh, I thought it was here. Oh, this may be it. Yeah, I think that's it. Okay, let's start putting these back. Putting back. Okay. Now, here's the other one. Well, this is Lords of Avarice, Uncovering the Legendary Origins of Western Civilization, David Rohl. This is volume 3, so I'm sure I've got volume 1 somewhere. This is Century again. I have to see. I think it's here. This is 2007. If it's not, it will be something that I will search out and buy. Yeah, so it's again just him going through, redoing the chronology, and sort of a weird way of putting the pictures in. I don't like the background that they've got on that marble background. Very odd. But yeah, so interesting stuff. Whether I believe it all or not is another question, and I don't know what his sort of reputation is since then. In 20 years plus. Here's another great one. Or I'm sure it's going to be. It's Alistair Cook at the Movies. Films reviewed and Hollywood observed by the master broadcaster and journalist. So again, it's his movie criticism, which is fabulous. I only have a little bit of it in I think another book. It's edited by Jeff Brown, Alan Lane, from imprint of Penguin. This is first published 2009, saying first printing. It's got it's got photos as well. Chaplin from Modern Times, and Ronald Colman from A Tale of Two Cities. I didn't recognize him there, really. Doesn't even look like Ronald Colman, the angle. But yeah, so this is definitely a keeper. It's quite a bit of really great film stuff in all this, which I'm very glad to get. Well, I'll use this one as a film as well, even though it's not fully. It's Howard Hughes, The Untold Story, Peter Harry Brown, and Pat H. Browatsky. This is Howard Hughes, the industrialist, pilot. The Spruce Goose was his big thing, but he also was filmmaker in Hollywood. RKO Pictures, I think. Says, yeah, since his death in 1976, Howard Hughes has been remembered primarily as an eccentric billionaire, compulsively secretive and strangely deluded. The grotesque details of his last years obscured the fact that he had once been America's golden boy, a celebrated aviator and Hollywood legend who romanced hundreds of beautiful women, including many stars. Howard Hughes, The Untold Story, is the first book to unveil the compelling story of all its richness. Authors Peter Harry Brown and Pat H. Browatsky, I think that's the pronunciation, have conducted more than 600 interviews, many with people who had previously remained silent, and drawn on more than 400,000 pages of newly revealed documents to create this fascinating and surprising portrait. So yeah, so that I'll put that as Little Brown and Company, 1996. So this will be, I'll add it to my film stuff. Could be anywhere, but because he filmed. Here's another one, Tales of Country Eccentrics, the David and Charles series, by Tom Quinn. Same deal. This is 1996, so it's an earlier one than the other two. Interesting artwork. I'm not quite sure I like it at the moment, but oh well. Oh, what's this here? Oh, here, yeah. This is a good sort of single volume. A History of the Cinema from its origins to 1970. Well, that's about the end of good stuff anyway. It goes past that, but Eric Rhode. Eric Rhode's A History of the Cinema is the first systematic attempt chronologically to relate time to the various societies from which they emerge, and to see them in the social and economic context. Sort of a weird sentence. But yeah, it's just general history. It's Alan Lane again. (1976). So he just went up to 1970. To a few years before. Well, he was writing it by then. This is it's seen everywhere. I didn't actually realize it was a BBC series, or I'd forgotten it. It's Egypt, How a Lost Civilization Was Rediscovered. Joyce Tildesley, I think. It's a quote from Howard Carter on the back. As my eyes, accustomed to the light, details of the room within emerged slowly from the mist, strange animals, statues, and gold. Everywhere the glint of gold. So this is BBC Books, 2006, reprinted. No, 2005, reprinted 2005. I think this is how. Sort of a history of Egyptology. I didn't actually realize it was a series, I don't think. One of a few books on radio that are in here. I have to think that, because there are a few, that there might have been a nice collection in the full library that this was from. This is the Radio Companion by Paul Donovan. The A to Z Guide to Radio from its inception to the present day. It's just a general. It's a bit mashed up on the. I don't know if you can see that. It's quite mashed up. It's not a fabulous. It's just like a little. Very short for it to be 1991. HarperCollins, and it's just little entries. So nothing spectacular. There's one more here, because it doesn't have. We haven't saw these yet. There's a few of these. This one doesn't have a jacket, sadly. It's the Thames and Hudson People and Places series. Or Ancient People and Places. The general editor was Glenn Daniel, Dr. Glenn Daniel. This is 1970, J. Desmond Clark. It's the prehistory of Africa. It's, like I say, it doesn't have the jacket. 1970. I think I've already said that. It's a fabulous series. They used to be the smaller size, and then they revamped them again sometime, I think, in the 80s or late 70s. I forget how many there are. There's hundreds and hundreds, I think, of these, and they're just a fabulous series. But anyway, I'm running out of puff here, so I will say goodbye, and this will be put up on Monday, and we'll continue on with these. So I've got, as I say, there's about another 5, possibly 6 more videos. It's a lot of books to go through. But take care, BookTube, and thanks for all the comments, and I hope you're sticking with me. Take care.